Hello and welcome to the 5 Percenters. I'm your host Nathan Alibaba. This is the accountability element of the show. This is where I follow an aspiring entrepreneur every week on their journey from initial concept to a business that's firing on all cylinders. This week I am speaking with Daniela Genius, who is setting up 2 businesses at the moment. Or maybe not, we'll get to that in a moment. The first one is an app to manage your finances. The second one is a community of aspiring black leaders to network, grow and learn from each other. And she also had another idea for cake toppers, which she was working on as well. So welcome back to the show, Daniela.
Hey, thanks for having me back.
Okay, great. So the last time you were on, you said that you ran into a little bit of an issue because the place where you were going to get the cake toppers manufactured couldn't manufacture them effectively.
Yeah.
So that basically made your business slightly kind of obsolete in a way, kind of overnight, or kind of changed the plan fundamentally. Tell me where you are now in your thinking, because the plan has significantly changed.
I don't know. To be honest, the past 2 or 3 weeks I've been kind of confused as to what it is that I'm doing in life, to be honest. I'm really passionate about doing this app around managing your finances because I think it's something that is missing. There are apps out there, but I've done some market research. I managed to get over 50 respondents for a survey within 48 hours, which was pretty good for me. And people are saying that this is something that they need. So I'd still want to pursue it, but I recognise it's going to be something that's going to take a while. It's going to need money and finance that I don't have. So that was number one. With the cake toppers, as we discussed, and as you just said, I can't find a manufacturer. I have been exploring options and I guess drawing on my networks, because I have quite a wide and varied network, to see if there's anybody that can assist in solving that problem. In terms of Be Excellent, which is the member-based organisation that I wanted to start, we're moving forward with that. We've got our first steering group meeting on the 19th of September, which I'm really looking forward to. However, my most pressing issue at the moment is I'm not working. I have a wedding planning business and a corporate events business, which is kind of 2 businesses under one umbrella, which is not necessarily generating the level of income that I need within my household. I have a husband who works and is on a decent wage, but there's stuff that he wants us to do as a couple and as a family that requires me to be generating some income. So whilst I have all of these ideas and I want to pursue them, it has become a bit more pressing to look at what is it that can generate income now. I have a lot of skills, I have a lot of experience, I'm quite educated. There's lots of things that I potentially could do. The question is, do I want to do any of them? I come from a self-employed background. I ran my business, Aspire for You, for nearly 10 years. So the concept of getting a job is quite alien to me, and it's not something that I want to do. So I have been looking at the idea of becoming a consultant. And then again, it's trying to work out, what do I want to consult in? Event management seems the most obvious because I have a lot of event management experience, but I also have experience in business development, social enterprise. So it's trying to work out at the moment, is that, well, not even that, is it viable? It is viable, but what route do I want to take to get some quick wins, to generate some income? And actually, in becoming a consultant and promoting myself as a consultant, it will stop me from having to get a job, which I don't want to do, and help me generate some income that I can also potentially invest into the 2 businesses that need the investment, so the Money Manager app and the cake toppers. Because I've had quite a few meetings with quite a lot of different people, mentors, associates, people within my network, and the resounding thing that everybody says is, you're not somebody that should get a job. And it's interesting because today I was thinking to myself, why have I needed other people to tell me that? I already knew that. And actually, there's not really any point me going down that route when I know I'm not going to stick it out. And I've got these skills, so being a consultant is something that I think I could potentially get hired to do fairly quickly. So now it's about rejigging my priorities, putting the app and the cake toppers on the back burner a little bit. So still continuing the market research, continuing with developing the products in terms of the ideas, but generate some income first and build up my reputation as a consultant, and then maybe revisit them when I've got to a specific income threshold, and setting that target. So I don't know, by the time I've raised 8 grand, then I will employ a manufacturer to manufacture the cake toppers. And by the time I raise 15 grand, I will employ a developer to actually start developing the app, or I will go to an investor to seek investment, rather than what I'm doing now is I have nothing, I need money, I can't really afford to go to an investor at this point, because even if I got investment to start to do the feasibility, etc., I can't pay myself from that. So it's not, for my family, it's not necessarily the best route for me to take. So it's been quite a challenging couple of weeks, and a lot of soul searching, a lot of I guess asking myself questions, and it's not been helped by the fact that I've just been really tired.
What's making you tired?
I don't know. I've got a baby, but she's been sleeping pretty well, to be honest. Before she was waking up at like 5 o'clock in the morning, so I was understandably tired. But recently she's been waking up 7:30, even 8. But it seems it's really weird, the later that she gets up, the tireder I feel. So I'm starting to think maybe it's something within me as opposed to her. So I've got some Floridix, which is supposed to be amazing. I went into Holland & Barrett, I said, look, I'm tired, help. And she said, here, take this. I've been going for walks to try and I guess keep active, etc. And I've decided next week I'm going to go to bed at 10 o'clock every single day and see if that works. Something must work.
It seems as though it's potentially the pressure and the strain of having to think about, you know, your future, your immediate future, the long-term future. There are lots of things potentially that is up in the air, and you know, your life can go in many different directions now. One of the things that you said that's really interesting is obviously the fact that you don't want to get a job now, and for understandable reasons you don't want to do that. I think you've always been that kind of person that has never wanted to do that. Totally understand it. You are a quintessential entrepreneur, right? Very hard-headed, very stubborn, but I think those are the qualities that are needed to get you through. However, at the same time, the situation that you're in right now, many people would, listening and watching, would say, well, maybe you just need to, you know, stop what you're doing and then just go into employment for a short period of time, whatever that, you're shaking your head, whatever that short period of time looks like, to accumulate some capital and some wealth, to then go back into self-employment. What would you say to those people that would say, why don't you just, the question I'm asking is there an element of pride here in not wanting to go and do this, or is it more of a rational decision?
It's not pride at all, because I feel like if I went and got a job based on my experience, I think I'd get a very good job. So it's not about pride, it's about getting caught in that trap. If I went and got a job now and it was paying me 45-50 grand, when am I going to quit that job? At what point am I going to say, actually, I don't want that paycheck anymore, I'm just going to stop on a whim because I think that this business might work? It's not going to happen. What will happen is I'll get that job and I'll say I'm going to work that job for 6 months, a year and a half, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm going to start to get used to the money. I'll get a new car, probably get it on finance. I'll go and get a mortgage. Then I'm trapped and I'm going to have to keep going to work. I'm not saying that I won't get a part-time job, or I wouldn't look at getting a contract job for an actual contract. So it's 5 months, it's 6 months, and then the job is done. But going into a full-time permanent contract, no, I don't think that's something that I should do, because I know I've seen that happen to so many people. My dad is a prime example. My dad always wanted to be an entrepreneur, and he needed money because he had us kids, and he went and got a job, and then he was in a position where he just stayed in a job, and he's just been in that job ever since. And he's got a house, he can't quit because he's got a mortgage to pay. So to me, it's about the long term. So there's a saying that they say in Jamaica, and it's, if you want good, your nose has to run. They say it obviously in Patois. I'm not going to test that.
Go on, say it.
No, I'm not going to do it. But the principle is, and I feel like it's self-explanatory, if you want something amazing, you're going to have to suffer for it. And I'd rather suffer short term than go and get a full-time job and not really progress, because there's only to me, there's only so far you can get in a job without having to sacrifice your personal freedom. And that's what I don't want to sacrifice, and that's what I've never wanted to sacrifice. And as I said, I think that offering my services as a consultant, I think I'd be able to generate enough money in a period of time that means I wouldn't need to get a full-time job.
Okay, so let's talk about this consultancy then, potentially. So you want to go out to companies offering your services on a daily basis to consult for them effectively. What would you sell?
Say that already.
Sorry?
I did say that already.
Yeah, okay. What would you sell? What's the product that you're going to create? Who are you going to sell it to? When are you going to start? What's the plan?
Well, as I said, it is about determining what that is going to be, because of the fact that there's a variety of different things that I could offer. It's about working out what's going to be the most in demand, what is it that I can possibly charge the most for, and what is it that where can I add the most value. So it's trying to determine whether that's around event management and doing something around event management and my expertise around creating diverse events or events that are inclusive to diverse audiences, or is it around my experience of social enterprise and monetizing social enterprises or marketing social enterprises effectively, or is it something around how corporate or non-social businesses can incorporate social elements to increase their corporate social responsibility. So I just need to work out which one.
I think all of them sound good.
But I can't offer all. It's that same thing. Because I've got my website already, so it's about rejigging that website to not be Daniela the entrepreneur but Daniela the consultant. But I feel like I can't be Daniela the consultant that's offering event consultancy and this consultancy, and that I need to pick one and stick with it. Yeah,
because that's your specialization, that's your differentiation. Pure, makes a lot of sense. Now, what we've been doing historically for the last few shows is determining, what are you going to do next week in order to, or the coming week, to advance you towards your goal. Seeing as though the goal has changed slightly, no, it's fine, it happens. I think that's another important thing for people to understand as well, is that, people sometimes start with the best intentions with an idea, but then you approach, you take it to market and it changes, right? And then you have to kind of think about, okay, well, does it need to change significantly? How much does it need to change? Do I need to reevaluate it totally? And that's just like, well, what's the famous quote that says, it was a general, an army general that said, no plan survives first contact with the enemy. So you can plan all you want to the full, and that's why it's just important to create a product and just get it out to market, right? And start getting out in front of people, because it will give you the skills and the experience to actually know what's working and what's not working. I think it was Mike Tyson that said, everyone has a plan until they get punched in the face. You know what I mean? So get in the ring, and you're definitely in the ring. But what I want to understand now is, what are you going to do between now and next week to advance this consultancy idea?
Well, I think the first thing, and I think this is actually going to be really effective, because this is something that's practical and I can start selling immediately. I think the first thing is I need to look at the 3 different services that I just explained to you, do a full breakdown of what I would include in that consultancy service, look at what I could charge for that, look at who I could approach, who I think would buy it, how much I think they would buy it for, and then I guess see which one's got the biggest market, which one seems to be the most viable, and then obviously if I've already listed what that looks like, I can update my website accordingly. So I think that's something practical I can work on to have completed by next week.
Great. Okay, we'll definitely hold you accountable to that. Daniela, thank you very much for coming on the show. Always appreciate your thoughts and your feedback and the inspiration that you're giving to everyone else listening. Remember that your success is something that you determine by the person that you become. So become the best possible version of yourself. Thank you.
Thanks, bye.